and they crept on your building.
Like wife beater covered in blood.
420 blaze it, dude. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ARTBOX podcast. My name is Travis Herman, Dr. T. Neal. My guest is Austin Short from the Lemon Squid YouTube channel, also on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, across the board, the Lemon Squid. How are you doing today, bud?
Pretty good. I'm feeling great. Thanks for having me.
Right. Yeah. Try to act like we didn't just film for an hour for your show.
Yeah, exactly. That's got
High
me on like a good
energy.
high right now, though. I feel like I got a good energy.
Yeah, that was really fun actually. If you guys get the chance to check this out, that'll be out before this comes out, I'm sure, because I got like a lot of editing I got to get into. But go check out the Lemon Squid and our latest collaboration video. Don't know the name of it yet.
Me either. We draw some fake
And then
Pokemon.
fake Pokemon. That's what I was thinking you were going to go in that direction. So I've been trying to label my stuff fake Emon and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I try to get better at my file keeping these days now that I'm collaborating and all that kind of stuff. And now that I'm on my second hard drive at this point.
Oh, I just bought my first external hard drive. Actually, I was like, let me just get a terabyte this time. But yeah, it definitely helps to get organized rather than just keeping everything in my downloads folder, like how I used to.
Oh yeah, yeah. As much content as you have, I'm surprised. Like you got to put that somewhere.
Yeah.
I regret a lot of my old content, like skits and stuff. I started doing for I think it was just for TikTok and then like Instagram Reels before I really understood any of this stuff. Those were like that was like burner footage. I don't have any of it anymore. It was just like on that phone and then deleted.
Yeah.
But now like I filled up a whole like almost terabyte with just my recent work, and then like every drawing and everything I've ever done is on there. But then when I started working for 1000 recently, his files are so fucking big. I had to buy a whole nother external hard drive, dude.
Yeah.
That's a mind blower.
Especially like videos, they take up so much storage space.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Speaking of editing and storage space, I found you because I like looking through like YouTube and typing in like Portsmouth, Ohio, or like Scioto County. And then, if somebody's used that buzzword or like said it in their script or something, tag the location, it'll come up on YouTube. So I like to see if there's like other content creators in the area. I found a lot of people that do like drone work. There's like all kinds of just drone channels.
I've seen some
So
drones
that's
at the
kind of
skate
neat.
park before, so that makes sense.
You might be on one of those just drone channels and it's like stock footage.
Yeah, maybe that was my first collaboration. I didn't even know.
Find yourself on Google Maps.
Yeah, I always look on there. I never see myself.
Right. I was looking at that stuff and I found a skate. I think your thumbnail has the skate park in it, and I was like, oh, that's brand new. I got to check that out. For one, I love skateboarding. Two, the content creation thing in my area. It's always nice to like know who's out there, who you can collaborate with. There's voices. I mean, we've already done stuff that I never would have known of if I hadn't found your channel. So, but I found your video, My Thoughts on Skateboarding, and man, I was just stoked. Your like insight on like skateboarding and your like personality, your attitude towards everything was really addicting right off the rip. Very nice, very presentable. You don't talk to anybody like they're not included. Everyone seems like a friend, really.
Well, thanks.
And
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was a nice introduction to all your other stuff too. I was like, whoa, he does all kinds of art, story like telling. You do a lot of storytelling. You're doing really great at that. And including your illustrations and artwork, and like we had mentioned a little bit ago, the book reviews.
Yeah.
And so,
go ahead. Sorry.
What kind of determines like what kind of content you like to put on there and stuff? Like, what is the Lemon Squid YouTube channel about?
That is a very good question, actually. I've been thinking about making a video specifically for like what is the Lemon Squid YouTube channel. because like it's not just one thing. Like you said, there's like not just book but media reviews and like there's story times and just random animations
Hmm.
that I'll do. So it, it it's pretty much anything I want to make and stuff that I hopefully enjoy watching. Like obviously going back and looking at some of my stuff, I do kind of cringe a little bit, but I think that's normal. Um, but I've always been into like just creating different things, whether it was like making up my own superheroes when I was like a little kid or something, and or making up my own like little home videos. And a lot of them, like nothing ever happened with it. Like they just kind of like went to the ether, and nobody ever
Yeah.
saw a lot of it. But like since second grade, I was like making my own comics and stuff, and I was drawing even before that. And I just was like, I'm like in my mid 20s now. I always watch YouTube. Like that's my main form of entertainment, as opposed to like Netflix or something. Like let me get in on this. So
Hmm.
it'll just pretty much be like whatever I feel like making that week, and I try to upload pretty consistently. I try to make it like one video per week if I can. I'm not very good at it, but I try. Um, so sometimes it's just like, what can I get made in this time period? And it kind of forces me to get creative, but other videos I'll spend
Hmm.
a little bit longer on. Um, as far as like the story time videos go and everything, back in high school, I tried my hand at stand up comedy for a little bit, and that was
Oh wow.
fun. I would do like open mic nights at like a local Mexican like restaurant and grill called Black Sheep. If you've ever heard of it, if you're from around here, it's like in Huntington, West Virginia. But
No.
it's pretty delicious. I don't know if they do open mic nights still, but the food's on point. But
Still awesome. Yeah.
yeah.
That's
But
sweet.
my first stand up skit ever that I got, my first stand up bit ever, I was I was at my high school talent show and I ended up getting third place. And there was like a bunch of people who were like way more talented than me doing stuff. And I was like, maybe this is something I can do. And so I did that for a while. But have you ever done stand up before? Because it's hard.
I haven't, but if it's funny you should ask because I did outline um I don't know what you call it, a gig, a show.
Yeah,
I was like, because I flirted with the idea. I was like, well, what if I did? Because like I do have some like material, and then I was like, I got a good idea. I could be like a comedian artist and I could sit on stage with my canvas. That way I can put my like my topic joke list or whatever on the canvas.
yeah.
And while I do it to the like stage, I'll be like I'll also do a painting too. I'll do the painting, but it'll be about the show. And then it could be like, a pecker or whatever when I turn it around at the end. It's like and end it on something real inspirational and then just turn it around, leave it there, walk away.
Yeah,
And
that's pretty good. But yeah,
that was just like a good way to like compensate for those weaknesses I might have by putting that like list there because like I already get nervous doing this kind of stuff and I've talked on like in front of crowds and stuff the past couple like 2 years
yeah,
and I get like real brain foggy when I start like trying to think of stuff. So my ears would probably start heating up and everything. That'd be wild
that's kind
for
of
me.
how I am too. Like I'm honestly, like in school, I was always like a quiet kid in class, and until I made friends, then I would be talkative and everything. But like, I never would have thought that I would be like on stage talking to a crowd of people. And it's like really nerve wracking. And then like once you're up there, you're up there. You know what I mean? So you kind of just get into the flow of it. And for some people, it's probably going to be really hard. For some people, it's like second nature. But like once I was up there, and if the crowd is kind of digging what you're putting out, it makes it easier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I've always wanted to incorporate art into that, and I only did stand up for like maybe a year. And have you ever seen my video where I um, talk about how I got hit by a car? I think it's
No, I
like
haven't seen that one. I'm
it
so
was
sorry.
no worries. But it was my first story time video, so you got to go pretty far back onto the channel. But that was also my first stand up act, and Like I was like, this would be so funny with like visuals, you know. So I just kind
Oh,
of rolled with
so
that.
is it like a sound recording of the stand-up?
No, I just said it again. Because
Okay.
my stand ups, like I'm not super good at improv, so I would like practice like what I was going to say and stuff like quite a bit. So I've got that story down packed. But
Nice. Yeah.
I kind of
Well,
treat
I
a.
think
Oh, I was
that's a
just.
part of your story telling kind of nature, man. I could tell that in a lot of the other videos, and you put them all together really well. Even when you're just like doing this kind of stuff, you're pretty well spoken, I would say. You know how to form a good thought.
Thanks, because I don't agree with you, but thank you.
Well, I'd say like the channel and incorporating the storytellings, the comedy, which I'm definitely gonna check that out. Um,
Oh,
is
there's almost impossible to find that. By the way, like there's like hardly
well,
any.
I want to watch that car video at least.
Okay, yeah, a lot of my story time
Yeah.
videos, not all of them, but a lot of them are just like stand up things that I think would make a good stand up skit with like cartoon visuals and stuff. Plus, I don't have
Oh
to worry
man.
about messing up in front of like an audience.
Yeah. I listened to your grocery store. I think it was grocery store stories,
That was one of them. I
and
said that on stage before.
I worked at a few gas stations for a few years and retail, and it's like, yeah, that's all perfect material. That's
Yeah,
like that's fuel, bro.
exactly. I've
Yes.
worked like so much retail, and the general public is wild. Like you don't need to be
Yeah,
creative. You just talk about stuff that's happened.
man. There was a guy who used to come to we won't say the gas station or the guy or anybody, just the story.
Right.
He used to come there and unfortunately he definitely had mental problems, but it was like also mixed in with like the crowd he was hanging with who had him on some stuff for like it's very hard to tell. Let's
Mhm.
just say like that. But the underlying thing was he was definitely like mentally unwell. And he would come around a lot and it's fine. But one time he comes in and he starts like flashing a machete under his trench coat that he wore it all the time. And he didn't like pull it out or nothing, just like knowing he has it is enough.
Yeah.
Um and then like one day he just would not stop loitering the building and he came in like asking if I had like a couple paper towels, gave me some paper towels, and then he came back in a few hours later. He's like, "Hey, oh sorry. Somebody came and somebody was out back and they crapped on your building and I went ahead and I got some cardboard and I cleaned it up for you guys." I was like, "Oh, thanks, man."
That's nice,
Cuz
machete dude.
well, when you see a human poop on the ground, you don't clean it, do you?
Yeah,
Unless it's
no,
yours.
no. In fact, I went out of my way to not clean it, and that was my job too.
Right. Check out that video if you guys haven't already. Um yeah, that's like an obvious like guilt. He's like, "Oh yeah, I was just somebody else did it." He's
Yeah.
covering his tracks, dude. Covering his
Yeah.
poop tracks. But I've got so many stories from grocery stores and stuff like that. Um
What you
it sounds
said.
like the
Oh, I was
Oh,
gonna
you're
say
good. You're good.
what you said reminded me because I worked at a liquor store for like years actually, and tons of stories from that. Like, but one of them, which will probably make it into a video one day, is it's not very long, but this dude just came in. He was like this big hulking like he was a redneck dude. We're from redneck towns, like you know, but
Yeah.
I love them,
Oh yeah.
but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, he came in like wife beater, covered in blood. I don't. I
Oh.
I'm assuming that he just got done gutting a deer. I'm hoping that's what it was. But he's like, yeah, I just need a fifth of this vodka here, and he gets like a fifth of like Barton's, and he just leaves. I don't ask any questions, but that was a little terrifying. That's just what your machete story reminded me of.
Yeah, there's some of those silent types too when they come through, and they'll be frequent people too. So it's like
Yeah,
I see you all the time, and then they're just like, "Yep." As a as
Exactly. That's
a
him. You met the guy, it seems.
yeah, I know the guy. Yeah. Yeah, I think you definitely should tell some more of those and put those in your videos. I know it takes a while to like draw those scenes and stuff, but it's definitely some good material.
For sure. I gotta do one of those like a story time of the liquor store videos because like there's all kinds of stuff. One time we were shot up like while I was on shift. Like there was like a shooting in the parking
Oh
lot.
man.
Yeah, it was scary, but also it would make a hilarious video. No one got hurt. Well, no one died. I
It's
think someone did get hurt, but no one died.
about the storytelling.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it sounds like the Lemon Squid channel is about you, man. You know, you are the lemon squid, I guess. What is the lemon squid? What does that mean? What does that stand for?
Oh, so I I didn't want to put myself in a box. You know what I mean? I didn't want to call it like Austin's drawings or anything like that in case I wanted to do something that has nothing to do with drawing, like that Harry Potter review video I did. I don't draw a single thing in that, you know. So I was like,
Right.
well, I want to look at it as like a TV channel, you know, and so I could have a bunch of different like shows. Like there's a story time show, there's a review
Hmm.
show, and I like just random things. Like you know how if you make an account on the Xbox, it'll just kind of give you like a random name and
Yeah.
you can change it if you want. That's kind of the vibe I was going with. And
Oh.
the lemon part of it actually comes from my fiance's Xbox name at the time. It was like, well, it's like the lemon toaster. She doesn't use it anymore, so I'm sure it's fine to say. But I thought that was such a funny name, like lemon toaster. Like what? You don't toast lemons. And growing up, like I've always really liked to draw squids and octopuses or octopi, but mostly squids because I think they got a neat head shape. Um, so I played around with a lot of things. Like I was thinking like I like animals a lot, so I was thinking like owls, bears, but I didn't want people to think I was like a bear in like the homosexual sense. Not that there's anything
Right.
wrong with that, but I if I were gay, that would definitely be what I would classify myself as. So just to avoid
Right.
confusion.
That would make the channel about something else.
That's gonna not be monetized ever. So
Well,
I like squid, so I went with the lemon squid.
we kind of have that in common. I have a good history of drawing a lot of like aquatic stuff, like
Yeah,
typically whales and definitely squids and octopi.
they're
Love
just
them.
so cool. You can get so creative. Like one of my favorite drawings I ever did was on my so like on my bedroom wall when I was like a teenager, and it was just like this squid holding a torch underwater, and it sounds so simple, but it was I was so proud of it, and it looked so cool, and
That sounds awesome.
that lives in my head like all the time, and like I it's probably not as good as I remember it, but like I wish I could draw something that cool again.
Well, I kind of have like the same like story in a sense, like how I use Dr. T. Neal a lot.
Hmm.
That's actually based on like because I get questions like sometimes it's kind of confusing. I do a lot of creative jargon stuff, and then I worked for Subject to Change for a while,
Hmm.
and then I always use Dr. T. Neal like as like a podcast name or like a character name, but it's derived from my gamer tag, which is derived from my original gamer tag when I was 16, which is a little different. And this will be the first time I've ever said it, but it was Dr. Pot. And my whole Call of Duty like thing was like 420 blaze it, dude. It had like I think you can customize your stuff so it had like little leaves and stuff
Yeah.
before behind the Dr. Pot. But after
Standard like
I got
teenager on
older,
Xbox stuff.
oh yeah, I was blending right in there, dude. I used to love Black Ops and zombies and stuff like that. But I got older and I decided like I needed to clean up the gamer tag at least.
Hmm.
And so I went with Dr. T Neal, Travis Neil Herman. Um and then I've just ended up using it and incorporating it and all kinds of stuff. And that's where the puppet character comes in. He's just a avatar of me basically. Um but I've thought about starting a channel separately as like a little because I'm having a hard time like grasping what creative jargon is sometimes
Right.
myself. And I mean it's in the name. It's just and I think it's kind of just grown to like almost anything creative.
Yeah.
And that's what this podcast is about a little bit. It's about talking to people from different backgrounds and exploring their insight, and maybe like anyone listening can get like some good like tips or knowledge, from these different walks of life that we have. So I
No.
don't know. I think I'm honing in on what creative jargon is itself, but I don't think I'm gonna do a Dr. T Neo channel. I'll probably, if I do any vlogs and stuff, I'll probably keep it to creative jargon because it's kind of Travis centric as well. So it's a little bit like the Lemon Squid in a way, the channel. Like I don't want to take anything like off the books, like I don't want to say I can't do a show review or something like that, but like at the
Yeah.
same time, you've seen my videos, I can't help myself from going like a little high concept on like on a little something. So
Right. Yeah, you definitely have like a specific vibe to your channel, which I really dig. It's like it's a super relaxing channel to watch, in my opinion.
nice.
Yeah, like
I appreciate that.
it maintains your interest the whole time too. I'll be honest, because like sometimes I'll be like, not just for you in particular, but if like a video is too relaxing, it kind of borders on boring, but not in your case. I feel like once you're into the video, your storytelling and how you like your whole documentary. I was hesitant to watch it for a while because I was like, this is like an hour long or something. But once I got it, dude, the time flew by. I was like into it. I was a little sad when it was over, but
Oh,
but yeah, like it's you definitely got a unique vibe, and I think you should stick with that for sure. Now, I
I
do
appreciate that.
no problem. I do. I've worked with some like YouTubers who are way more successful than either of us. Like they've got like one of them's got like millions of subscribers at this point. Um, like I drew the profile picture and everything, and I'll talk to him somewhat regularly. And if you watch like YouTube growth videos and stuff, they always say like hone in on a topic and just stick with that, which is probably good advice and it probably feeds the algorithm rather well. But at the same time, I don't want to get burned out or anything. So like I don't know. I
Yeah,
think it's healthier, maybe not for the channel, but for bless you, for our mindsets and everything to just like make what we want to make. You know what I mean? And that way we don't get
yeah,
burned out. Give us some variety and stuff. Because people like us, they'll watch what we put out. You know what I mean?
yeah. So, like, would you have any tips for anybody starting a YouTube channel? Like, maybe beginners or maybe somebody trying to find their niche, I guess.
Um, well, don't delay. Well, I think we mentioned this a little bit at the end of my episode, but like get started as soon as possible. If you keep putting it off, like, well, I don't have the right camera, I don't have the right like computer or anything, like dude, we got the technology we have these days is so good. Like all you need is a phone to get started. And everything else will come. If it's something that you want to get into, invest in it and
Hmm.
but like don't put it off just because like your your camera is not the best quality. Like I record everything off my phone and it could definitely be better, but it works. I've never seen anybody complain about my video quality or anything before. So but yeah, the sooner you get started, the sooner you'll find your groove, and like you'll eventually have a video that people will like become attached to, and you can keep going off of that if you want. But whatever you do, make sure it's something that interests you, not just something that's like happening at the time. You're just trying to jump on a bandwagon to jump on the bandwagon, which I've done before. I've got a Among Us video out there. I played Among Us like twice,
I'd
but
like to say that your 30-second drawings have been quite the fire starters, dude. I think that's what grew your channel, isn't it? I think you went
yeah,
from like I think in the last video I watched, you said we went from like 300 to 2,000 by the time I've recorded this. I was like,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, those thirty
That's a
second
big jump.
drawings, they helped a lot, especially on my Instagram. My Instagram's like almost got, I think it's like about 6,400 followers right now, if I'm not mistaken, which for the
Hmm.
longest time I was at 300 followers for years. And, I was just using my Instagram as a thing to like post my art and, just like a little online portfolio essentially. But
Yeah.
when I started doing those 30-second drawing things, I just thought it'd be like a fun little thing to do, and they are fun. Like I have a great time doing them, and like I don't need to be super great at drawing to draw in 30 seconds. I just gotta get a recognizable character done in that amount of time. And sometimes it's awful, but hopefully the video is still fun to watch when that happens.
I think they like some of them are like dead on. Like some of them are really good, and then some of them are like more loose.
Yeah.
But like you can tell that Austin Short has got the like Pokemon style in mind. Like a you've got an arsenal of the like Pokemon eyeballs. Like I don't know. I think you doing these 30-second challenges have really like helped your arsenal, at least within like just art even. And when it came to that challenge, like of just us making our Pokemon, you knocked it out of the park, man.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, and now everything like all my 30 seconds are still on my Instagram channel, but I've actually quit uploading them to my YouTube to like my main channel because
Oh.
if you were to I have a whole secondary channel called 30 Second Squid that is dedicated to that. But like I watch a lot of YouTube on my PlayStation. So like if you were to go to my channel, you'd have to scroll through all my shorts uploads to get to like a main video. And I didn't want people to
Mm,
think that's the only thing I did. I didn't want it to be so hard to find because I had playlists and everything. But
yeah.
I don't want to rely on people to want to put a lot of effort into watching my stuff. You know what I mean? Like I want it to be pretty easy to find. Like if they're just wanting to see what the last video I uploaded was that wasn't a 30-second drawing, I want that to be pretty simple
Hmm.
to get to. Um, so even though
Yeah.
the growth was coming a lot, some of those 30-second drawing videos would get like less than 100 views and they were just taking up so much space. I was like, well, let me get a secondary channel. I'll focus on that. That's got about 600 subs right now, which
Hmm.
in like less than a year's time, I would say is pretty good. Um, but
Okay.
yeah, and then my main channel just focuses more on like what I consider my main stuff. The 30-second kind of will get people in, and hopefully they stay
Yeah.
around for like the stuff I put a lot of effort into.
Well, I think like you were mentioning people who can like there's an opportunity to jump on a bandwagon. I wouldn't say I've actually seen these, but I can imagine there's other 30-second drawings out there and stuff like that maybe. But I think what works best is that you love it. So
Yeah,
like if nobody should feel bad like about I think there's some people out there who don't want to do a trend or they don't want to do a video because they're like, "Oh, well, I'm too good to talk like a YouTuber, you know."
mm-hmm.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I can't. I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
So,
Those
I
people probably
think
don't get a lot
this
of views if they were to make a channel, though.
exactly. Yeah. Um, I think. Well, I also think when you open yourself up to those things, you find out more about yourself, even.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's not about doing the trend; it's about finding out how the trend fits you. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. I've
Yeah, and
seen
I'm starting to see that.
I've seen some other videos where people like do a drawing in 30 seconds and like they don't talk the entire time and it's just and sometimes they do a better job than what I do on the drawing itself. But I like my little intros. I like trying to talk while I'm doing the drawings is actually probably the hardest thing because
I
uh,
would say one of my favorite parts, I'm just like kind of realizing this, analyzing, is
uh
that someone is filming you. And that kind of feels like we're walking up to you and then you're talking to us and you're drawing it for us, like,
yeah,
bam, check this challenge out, boy. Like we just found you out on your porch,
yeah,
just strolling
dude.
by.
I like that vibe. I think that's really cool. I've had people comment similar things that like, like some guy was like, I want to just have a beer on this guy's porch with them or something. And like right before we
Yeah.
hopped on, I saw a comment was like, I love this guy's vibe, and it's because I've had people also comment, like, well, not comment. They've told me, hey, this might do better if you just jump right into the action and you don't film those little intros or anything. It's just you drawing. Like, yeah, that might get a certain amount of views for that video. Then people are going to forget it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I like, I want people. This sounds conceited. I want people to like me too. You know.
Yeah.
um. So
I think personality goes a long way, and some of those people who want those fast cuts and stuff, sometimes they end up sacrificing like a lot of their personality and a lot of those. I get like kind of intros are getting cut right now, like
mhm.
in 2024. It seems like a lot of intros and endings. People are like cutting endings
Like,
off.
I don't care what's the next thing to entertain me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like get to the next thing.
I,
But I think you shouldn't compromise on what you really enjoy because I mean obviously it not just because it's working, but because it's already naturally a part of who you are.
yeah,
And I think authenticity like that is going a long way right now.
I agree. And trends are just that. They're trends. They'll come and end, and like, maybe those videos will fall off. Maybe they'll get popular in a year from now. Like uh, before I started doing the 30-second drawings, I would just do time lapse drawings, and I wouldn't talk or anything. I would just put music on them. And do you remember when the Super Mario movie came out? That Peaches song was like incredibly popular. Well,
I did a quick little reel for it as well. Is
yeah,
that what you're gonna say? You did a
I,
short for it?
I did. I was already drawing all the Mario characters anyway, and like I would have because I like Mario. That's just something I would have done regardless. But because the movie was coming out, I was like, this seems like a good time for it. So I had done Mario, I done Luigi, I think I did Bowser at that point. But anyway, I was, I had already even drawn Peach, and then like when I was about to upload it, the Peach song was getting really popular, and I was like, oh, I'll throw that on there. That thing's got like that's the most viewed thing I've ever made. I'm pretty sure. At least one
Wow.
of them. I'll see if I can get it pulled up here real quick. But that got me thousands of subscribers on
I'm pretty
YouTube.
sure it is. Yeah, that's wild. I didn't I just kind of this was before I got a like I would say within the past year I've gotten a grasp on more of what my content creation is rather than just like I have a phone and I would always post my like sketches.
Mhm.
I used to post about just day-to-day thoughts, just anything, this and that. And I kind of since I've gotten a grasp on things, I kind of stepped back from social media and started focusing on these like things like content and actually how to present them. So when
Yeah,
I made my little Mario piece, I did a painting of the well, it was a digital painting of the piano from the Lyrical Lemonade video.
that's sick, dude. I
Yeah,
haven't seen that, but that's
it
awesome.
was it was just a picture of it. I didn't even time lapse it or anything. So like that I think that like I had a lot of wasted opportunities, but like I just like to get a lot of creativity out sometimes back then, and
Yeah,
I still do. Like I yeah, and just like post it like oh I worked on this for a few hours. Now I'm getting some likes on it. And then
yeah,
it's like, now I'm on to the next thing. And
and
I used to do that like every day. I got real burnt out on that.
for sure. Yeah, shorts and reels are like they can be exhausting. They really can, and that's why those 30-second drawings are really helpful because I just spend a little couple like minutes of the day. I'll film like three or four of them at a time, and then boom, that's
Nice.
like half a week's worth of content right there. But like with
Oh yeah.
the Mario drawings and stuff, that would be like hours of work, and hopefully it gets some views. And I'll still occasionally post like time lapse drawings of shorts. Like recently, I did like a Wendigo drawing, and
Yeah.
I kind of told myself, even though it got me a bunch of subscribers, I'm not going to just use popular audio trends anymore. Like if I'm going to upload a time lapse, it's going to be me talking
Hmm.
over it. Because I don't want somebody to own the reason why my thing got popular. I don't know, that it feels weird to me,
Hmm.
and like the peach drawing had zero of my personality, and I think most of the people who subscribe to it, who subscribe because of that, thought I don't know if they just thought I was going to keep drawing princesses or what, but like I don't get nearly as many views as what my subscribers would suggest.
They're saying that about shorts is that it's kind of a conflict because like it's conflict of like interest, the way like people watch long form content versus short form content.
Yeah.
The people who end up hitting that subscribe from the short button may not be an average like returning viewer
Hmm.
for like your long form videos and stuff. But I think they're like you said, if you can keep up like like almost a schedule, or you just love doing it. I think you can see like real numbers and stuff like that using popular tracks and stuff. I get that. I kind of like dropped the ball on a lot of my own short form content. Now I worked for 1000 doing his short form content, but
Hmm.
mine seems to suck. And I don't know. It's because like for some reason I can't. And I've since gotten rid of a lot of them because I'm just not proud of them, and
Right.
that's how they were made too. It was just like, oh, this is recut from like a long form video, and it doesn't really make sense out of context,
Yeah.
and then some of them would get big views, and like I think I put up a video of people just spray painting a car and said, when you stop at a stoplight in Portsmouth, Ohio, and they're like spray painting it, and I'm like, I'm just trying to get to Hawthorne Heights, brother, or try to see Hawthorne Heights. But so I think when you make good shorts like you do, like you make good shorts, and then because of 1000, I'm able to make him good shorts. He supplies all the story and all the footage, all the audio. I mean, he's amazing. um and then you have like your intros, and like you have someone filming, so like you have a format to it.
Hmm.
I think um i think like why not keep doing it, especially if you like them.
Yeah, I don't plan on stopping them anytime soon. Like I said, I just kind of moved a lot of them over to my second channel just because it was kind of clogging up the main channel. But yeah,
Yeah.
like I want to keep doing it. My Instagram pretty much has everything. Like I'm a lot more personal on my Instagram. Like I'll post some stuff to my stories and stuff, just like random things. Like if I go skating that day, you might see a little clip of me skating. You said you saw me
Mm,
because of my skating video. There's very little of that content on YouTube because I don't want to be a skating channel. I'm not that good, and like I said, I don't want to kind of put myself in a box. But I don't know.
right. I think we're finding something coincidental though, is like skateboarders and creativity is kind of hand in hand.
It really is. It really is. You can, I mean, skateboarding itself, you can get very creative with. You know what I mean? It's like it's a sport,
Yeah.
but it's also like an art form on its own.
And speaking of, like, why did you get into skateboarding?
Um, Well, I've always liked skateboarding. Like, I always thought it was cool. Back when I was a kid, I'd play like Tony Hawk Pro Skater and stuff. I was
Hmm.
always like a fan of the style, the music, just the culture. But I was always a
Hmm.
heavy kid. I never thought I could skateboard because of that until a couple, I think a year and a half ago. My fiance and
There's
my
some
nephew.
there's
What?
some big boys that are shredded though, man.
Oh
Have you seen
yeah,
some of those?
yeah. There's this dude like Joey Wells or Joey Walls, something like that. He's like 400 pounds, kills it. He can kick
Eh,
flip. He tears it up, man,
it's a lot of mindset, and I get that.
for sure. But also, I never saw those guys when I was a kid, because like growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, you just saw what was on TV, and
Yeah.
you know, you wouldn't see a lot of heavier guys skateboarding. But when my fiance and my nephew started skateboarding about a year and a half ago, I was just kind of around it a lot, and like I was like, this might be an opportunity for me to like maybe get on a board, and like I would get on, try to push, and um, I was a very slow learner, but eventually, my fiance got me my own board because like I would always have to use hers and everything, and I just kind of
Hmm.
slowly started learning it from there, and it's so fun. Like I skated for a couple hours earlier today, um, just practicing like pumping the bowl, like dropping in, trying to go as fast as I possibly could. And like little kid Austin, he would be so impressed by me and my skateboarding skills right now. Even though
Yeah.
some people I'm
Oh
like
yeah.
not very good at all. Like I'm way better than what I ever thought I
The
was going
wild
to be.
Oh, now that I'm thinking about it, the wild thing is that you dropped in on that quarter pipe, and then I wouldn't have even. I don't think I could have even done that before I was able to like kickflip.
I can't
I
ollie.
I had I had a very street like skateboarding upbringing, so like
Yeah.
curbs. I'm like, yeah, I was like riding on my butt on that thing when I was like 12 years old for like 2 years. And then like I finally found out like there was more to the culture rather than just because like you said, all we had was like real life and then like what was ever on TV back then. So it's like I had a skateboard, we're gonna cruise down a little hill. But eventually I started meeting people and the culture actually boomed with Jackass, Viva La Bam.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't think I dropped in until like after a few tricks.
Yeah,
That's wild.
my friend Zach, I've been friends with him since like kindergarten. He was like my skater friend growing up, and
Hmm.
we grew up in Huntington. There was no park or anything there at the time, so like he was really good at like ollieing up curbs and like he could do manuals and different things like that. And I was like, "There's no way I'm going to kill myself if I ever even try." But I always thought like when I would see people on TV like carving bowls, I was like, that
Hmm.
looks super cool. Like that's what I want to do, and that's I can
Oh yeah.
do that now. And I still can't ollie. I'm so scared of ollie. I should really get over that, but like, uh, you kind
Just
of
do
learn
it
at
in
your
the
own pace, you know.
do it in the grass as much as you can, if possible.
I was
That's a good stationary spot to do it.
Yeah, I've been trying to practice a little bit more. Like there's like this crappy Walmart Tony Hawk board that like the wheels barely roll, and but they do roll a little bit. So I want to I try to ollie on that. So like when I do land, it is kind of rolling, but it's not completely stationary. But the board always
That's
ends
not
up
too
trying to
bad,
do like
yeah.
a shove it motion. I need to figure out how to just keep it where it is. I'm so scared of getting swept,
Well,
but
on that note, I guess this would be my tip to any new skaters. I learned to shove it before I could pop an ollie. So just flicking that like board in a 180 while you're in the grass. If you
yeah,
can keep doing that a few times, like you'll get the confidence to just whip it out while riding around. So that's I think in a good like hierarchy of like tricks you would could learn or would want to learn beginning could be the pop shove it, and then the ollie, and then like then a 180 probably
yeah.
after that. But there's like plenty of hand tricks, like the caveman,
I've
um,
been practicing those lately.
boneless. Bonelesses are sweet. I
I can't do.
had a
I don't know if I should practice those or not, but maybe one day.
right. It's not really. I don't think those are going to technically improve anything. So I wouldn't focus on a boneless really. A boneless is for fun.
Right.
That's a mess around.
Yeah.
I've been skateboarding for about well, like I said, since I was about 18 or since I was 12, so about 18 years. And I've gotten little tips here and there, but like mainly you just get out there and do it. And like you said, there's a lot of almost everything that you touch is gonna like kind of scare you.
Yeah.
Um, but there's nothing like the feeling of like connecting with. There's an art style to how you skateboard. So
Hmm.
like each person like is unique in their own way. They no same like person's gonna like no person's gonna skate the same way. And so
Exactly.
I think there's creativity in the athletics of it. Now that it's in the Olympics and stuff, the X Games and Olympics. Um, do you have any tips on skateboarding for beginners? Now, like since you're learning, you're right there on the cusp of like learning a lot of these things. What helps you? I think you gave me a tip like you kind of dropped the tip while I was at the skate park with you is like, hey, basically no one's too cool for a fucking helmet, dude.
Yeah,
We're not,
absolutely. Like, wear your
you're not
helmet.
gonna yeah. Now I know I'm bad about it and you'll probably see footage like I don't wear them, but there was a lot of times when I should have, and now that I'm getting older, you've seen I had like wrist guards on. I'll put them on where like some of the equipment's failing,
Yeah,
some of my
I can't
parts are
break this.
failing.
This is my money maker. It technically doesn't make me a
Yeah,
lot of money yet, but one day.
right.
But
So what are your tips?
yeah, well, like you said, wear a helmet. Don't feel ashamed. There's one thing that held me back for the longest time was um I was so worried about being judged at a skate park, but like I find that most of the time either nobody cares that you're skating, or if anything, they're encouraging. You know what I mean? Like they'll be
Yeah,
like, "Hey, let me show you this tip." Yes, there is going to be some people who are snobs about it. You'll find that in anything. You'll find that in cooking. You'll find that in art. You'll find that in music. So you're not going to get
good
around
point.
that. So you might as well just skateboard if that's something you want to do. Bend your knees and lean forward. That's like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
key for anything you're going to do on a skateboard. But and you want to. I would honestly say you want to learn how to fall before you even learn how to do anything super cool on a skateboard, because like that's going to be, if you don't know how to fall, you can really hurt yourself. You know what I mean? So
Got a
like,
scar right there.
yeah,
I don't know if you can see my second eyebrow. Technically, is what it looks like.
I actually can see it. I have a
Yeah.
scar on my eyebrow around the same spot, but not because of skateboarding, because I hit my face on a crane when I was coming out of Little Caesars one day. But that's a whole other story.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a second episode about scars, dude.
Yeah,
I
like
got
I gotta
some. Yeah.
check this one out. That's from where I got hit by the car.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
we
I'm
may
gonna
we
have
may have to do a second part with this stuff.
I'm gonna have terrible back problems in my future.
Same, same. Now that we've talked about the process of skateboarding a little bit, I kind of want to ask you about. I want to ask you. I want to ask you about your process for making your like illustrations and animations. Do you so you make all your artwork on Procreate and then have PNGs?
I actually use Autodesk Sketchbook for pretty much everything.
Oh, right. My
Um,
bad.
no worries. But yeah, that's like I've been using that for a really long time at this point, probably close to 10 years. Um, and I've gotten really good with that. And they've drawing on it is great. Like you can, I think that holds up to pretty much anything. I don't think. I mean, you might know this because you use it too. I don't think you can make
Hmm.
vector images necessarily, so that is a little bit of a setback. But can you?
Oh no, yeah, you can't use those vector graphics. Um I tried to like export or like convert it.
Yeah.
When I was first starting, I found something that was like a vector converter and I started putting like artwork through there and it'd come out the other side with like my references were like bleeding through from where they were like erased on my like file and stuff and like I was like I don't know what I'm doing. so so yeah, Autodesk does not have vector graphics, no.
But other than that, it is great and it is free. Like you can do so much with it just for free. And I've
Oh yeah.
made some of my best pieces with it. I've only just now started to get into Adobe. Like I bought that last week, so I'm going to be
I can't
learning
wait
a
to see
lot
how
more.
that stuff starts going. Yeah.
Oh
I want to
man,
see that process.
I I practiced some animations on that here recently.
Nice.
There's going to be a big learning curve, but my animations I think are going to take a big step up. You can
Oh, that's
animate.
awesome.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. You can animate on Autodesk Sketchbook, but it's very, very, very rudimentary.
Now I notice my because like we haven't really talked about this, I do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't do it on desktop. I notice you have your Autodesk open on desktop and there's also an animation feature in there.
So I've got what I use is this. It's
Because
a
I saw your Grimace video did
yeah.
that.
This is it's like a tablet and a laptop at the same time. So I can take this keyboard off and it's just like a tablet. You know what I mean? But all
Mhm.
everything I download onto it is for it's like a desktop version of it. And there is an animation feature. It only gives you 3 layers, and one of them is a background layer that you can't move at all. So you
Mm.
really got to get creative with it. A lot of times, what I would do is I would animate, how do I like objects? I guess I would animate certain things,
Yeah,
and
I call them assets, like assets, different parts of what makes the scene.
yeah, yeah. So like I would might animate a character doing one thing, and then don't even worry about the background for that, and then put it all together in Shotcut later, which is like a free video editing software. Um, and kind of make my animations with that. And like I said, you kind of have to get
Hmm.
creative. I might do another video about it one day, but I'm going to learn how to do the Adobe stuff because like that's what the big boys use. So I
Yeah.
gotta get in on that.
Are you still using Shotcut? Because I was using that for a while.
Yeah,
You are?
I still use Shotcut now. I'm building up my PC right now because I try to use Premiere. I think it's called Premiere Pro for Adobe. I tried using
Hmm.
that, but my the RAM and the graphics card of my computer couldn't quite handle it, so I couldn't do it super smoothly. I'm slowly
Ah,
upgrading that. I just installed new RAM yesterday, waiting on a graphics card to come in. So eventually I'm going to move over to that. But yeah, I'm like pretty fluent with Shotcut. I can get a good bit done on Shotcut. And
no. I'm only going to recommend this because I was doing the same grind, and I checked out some other freewares when I got Shotcut,
mm,
and that one I landed on because it was the best one I was finding. But now that CapCut has actually upped their game a bit, their desktop version is actually really sweet, and I've been using it for. You can see the videos I started doing since the documentary have taken like there's a bit of quality to them I think that I'm getting from CapCut, and that's what
right,
I started out editing all my stuff on, and I just did my first like PNG animation on there, and it went really smooth. Um,
nice.
so if it's very user friendly, like it's so user friendly, like you've seen it like everywhere. Everybody's got it for like TikTok and stuff, but it has a lot more brain to it than people think. And it has so much stock, like effects. You can use their audio and like video and stuff, but like to avoid copyright, it's probably best to have your own B-roll and stuff like that.
Yeah.
YouTube Studio is where I get a lot of my audio library.
You said YouTube Studio?
Yep.
Oh wow, I didn't even know that. I don't think that you could get they had like an audio
Oh,
library on there.
heck yeah. Okay, so they have music and sound effects.
That's
So you
cool.
just go to your studio and it'll be on the side or whatever, and you just scroll down past like customization and stuff, and you'll see audio library. Click
Nice.
that, and it's just like any other audio source website, really,
For a lot of my background
and they're
music,
all free. Well, actually,
what are you?
oh, you're good. I was gonna say that a lot of it's free, but there are some that are like you can only use this video, but they're gonna take like the they're gonna slap a copyright on it and make money off it as well.
Oh yeah, that's why I wanted to quit using like popular sounds that people use for like shorts and stuff because like if I want to make money off
The
of it,
good,
I want it to be my money, you know.
yeah. The
Um,
good the good thing is their audio library is full of free stuff, so you don't have to worry
nice.
about running into a lot of those. There's just a couple, and it'll tell you when it is like that. But yeah. So you're still using Shotcut and you're moving over to Adobe for your animations.
Yep. I think so. The animation game, like I said, that's going to really take a step forward into the right direction. I think, like in shot or in Autodesk, when I would do the animations there, it's pretty much all frame by frame, and you could do like a little bit of keyframing in Shotcut, for like a character who's moving or something. But
Hmm.
like yeah, Adobe's just got it to where it's just like so much smoother. You can make like a skeleton for your character, and it. Oh man,
That's when you know it's the real deal. That's what I was going to ask
yeah,
if you're working with skeleton grids and stuff like that. That's awesome.
yeah.
I can't wait to see that, man.
I'm excited for it too. I don't know what I'm going to do animation wise, like first, but
Hmm.
I'm excited for it, whatever it ends up being. It's probably not going to be the greatest starting out, but it's only up from here, you know?
Well, since I know you like shorts and stuff, or you're having some good success with them, a good way to test out those animations is just do loops,
That's true.
cycles.
That's true.
You can do like I like some of the lo-fi ones that I'll come across on Instagram where it's just like it doesn't have to be like a lo-fi girl studying, but it'll be like a pixelated like creek running and it'll just loop over and like some leaves will fall down. There'll be some lo-fi music. That stuff's
Yeah,
kind of nice.
for
But
sure.
that'd be a good way to like exercise the animation muscles. Um, Speaking of, what are your inspirations for art? I know that you definitely like Pokemon, and I see Evil Dead on the wall there. We both love Evil
Yeah,
Dead.
I do. I'm a
Yeah.
huge Evil Dead fan. That's my favorite '80s horror movie, like period. um,
Oh
but
yeah.
as far as art goes, I
Yeah.
really like when I was a kid. I would watch those like Nickelodeon commercials where it would have like Butch Hartman like showing you how he draws like Timmy Turner or something. So stuff like that. I really like the style of like Fairly Odd Parents and like Danny Phantom and everything. So I would say Butch Hartman's up there. Um, I
Nice.
I really like Brian Lee O'Malley, the creator of Scott Pilgrim. I think he's got a really
Okay.
cool style. And then
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't going to remember his name, so I got this here. But the Masashi Kishimoto, the creator of Naruto, his style in
Oh.
particular, I for anime is like pretty unique. But I think it's really cool, and like I would practice drawing Naruto characters like constantly when I was a kid, and I think I got a lot of like. I think I got a lot of my techniques from his artwork. Like I think in a lot of my videos or my pictures, you'll see I'll do like cross hatching shading and stuff. I picked that up
Hmm.
from him. I'm sure there's other people who do it,
Nice.
but like that's like what got me into that style originally. But
Yeah.
I would think those are the main ones, honestly.
So a bit of animation and a bit of manga.
Yeah,
I can see that. I used to draw Pokemon. I used to draw Pokemon nonstop, and I used to draw Dragon Ball Z like almost a few characters a day when I was growing up.
yeah.
I was addicted to drawing those spiky hair and making all of them connect, and getting to
It's so
cell shaded and stuff.
satisfying.
Like, yeah, drawing Super Saiyan hair is like that's a game changer.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, when
That's kind of where I am. Like, I had a lot of inspirations with cartoons, comic books, and then I like to like the storytelling. I'm very influenced by movies and
mhm.
music. Heavily influenced by anything creative. So
Yeah, I want to like flex my storytelling a bit more on my YouTube channel. I just feel like I haven't been able to do that as well as I want. And by that I mean not my story time videos, but like my original stories, like fiction. I would make
hmm
web comics for years on Webtoons, if you've ever heard of that. And
hmm
I think a lot
it's
of
been a
what,
bit.
yeah, it has for me too. But a lot of the stuff I would put on there, I would think was pretty good. And like when in middle school and high school, I would like make my own comics and stuff, and pass them around to my friends, and my friends would be like, "When's the next issue of this coming out? Like, I can't wait!" And it was a ton of fun. And I love getting that kind of feedback, but I haven't found a great way to do that on my YouTube channel just yet. I tried a little bit with this series called Malcolm and Dave, but animation's
I
hard.
need to watch those. I've seen those on there. I seen that they were a story, so I didn't just jump into a random one. I didn't want to
Yeah,
do that just yet. So I'm probably going to be going through those soon too. I think um I think we were talking about some of that. It's kind of something I wanted to mention to 1000 about like we all get so wrapped up with how a YouTube video is perceived and how you're going to go about it, what the idea is. But I think fiction is a really fun area to just like put all that stuff behind you and like you said, either if you got your phone or if you're 1000 and you got a huge studio,
yeah,
get your equipment out and just start like I think I wrote the magic pen in about 10 minutes. And
nice.
we showed that at four venues. like we, sold tons of tickets and like a bunch of merch and stuff. And like it's all got to start somewhere. So write it in 10 minutes and like some of the more story stuff started coming together once we actually filmed it, but like that's also the fun like improvisational,
Yeah,
like kind of improv some of the lines and then improv an action or a look or something.
yeah.
It's kind of fun to it's kind
It,
of fun to derail from the typical YouTube stuff. So that's why I like any of my entertainment is like a little bit of spectacle and stuff. Like I have a Sprite video that I'm planning out, and it's totally unrelated to like it's just this like glorified deep dive into madness for making a Sprite video to try to get sponsored.
but oh, like so you do mean the beverage, right?
Yep.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you meant like a pixel sprite or like the drink. All right, I mean I like both.
Yeah. So this is like it's like if you had to like title the video, it's like broke artist tries to get sponsored by Sprite.
I
and
want to get
and in
involved with
the
more
end,
live action stuff. Like if you like, I saw where on your documentary where you guys made that movie. Any
mhm,
opportunities arise, let me know. I'm in. Okay, I love that kind. I haven't worked on a movie in a while. I was on a couple sets
mhm.
like back in the day, but it's been a long time, and it's super fun.
Yeah. Yeah, there's really nothing like working with people and getting like when you start getting to like act a little bit, you get a little high from it because when you step away from the character after a second, you're like trying to get your brain back. You're like, who am I? It's
Yeah.
not. I'm the dude playing the dude disguised as another dude.
uh,
It's not that, but like it is a lot of fun and uh like any chance I can come up with anything, I'll let you know, man. If you want to go ahead and anybody listening, go ahead and subscribe to the Subject to Change Entertainment YouTube channel and follow their Instagram or Facebook because they'll put out auditions for this stuff.
okay,
So
I
if you
didn't
want,
know that either.
yeah,
So
they just had the Indiscriminate Weight of Mondays where a dude with an orange beard, man, you would have been great.
missed it. Next
If
time.
you guys got another Garfield role coming around, I'm just kidding. They're doing all kinds of stuff, so I can't wait to see what else they start putting out. And like I said, anybody listening, put in your like your cast tapes and stuff, and they'll check them out.
You were talking about like
Um,
improvising with like acting and everything, but you can even do that stuff with like comics. Like I said, I wrote comics for years, and a lot of times I would have like a basic idea in mind and kind of like who these characters were and everything, but I didn't have, know how each issue was going to go. But sometimes I would get to writing it and I'd be like, oh crap, how's this going to go? And then like I would, keep going. But you can kind of improvise in comics and stuff too. So if you don't want to be like an actor necessarily, and you kind of like drawing, um,
yeah,
that's another way
voiceover.
to do it. Voiceover, I mean, shoot, there's like even with AI now, like you don't even necessarily even need to draw. Like you can make your own comic just
Yeah,
by typing in a prompt. You know what I mean?
actually, because I've done a lot of experiments and nobody like, they were done to be like open up the floor for discussion, but like nobody asked. So I guess I'm having the conversation here. Um, my commercial for Creative Jargon. I don't know if you've seen that. I think I just took it down because I found it unnecessary.
uh,
Um, but it's not my voice in the commercial. It's I lent my voice to AI and it
whoa,
does the whole script. And I was like, pretty good.
that I wow. I think I have seen that video. I don't think I knew that.
hmm
But I'm
Yeah.
not. I don't have the ear for that kind of thing though.
Yeah, after like I can tell, but like I can tell how close it is too, and it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's
So
scary.
before we hit on AI, because that's going to be our next topic,
Oh, okay.
um, any tips on like animation and stuff that I would give for people with this storytelling, animation, video making is everyone can benefit from like draftsmanship. So get a sketchbook out, draw the character, draw the scene, some people will call it, rough sketches.
Hmm.
In movies, they'll call them storyboards. I also, with like my second, I have a second comic book I'm working on. Neither of them are out, but they hopefully will be this year. Um, I storyboard the whole thing before I even start.
Yeah.
So with like YouTube videos, I don't storyboard those as much. Um, not for anything yet. I might have to for the Sprite video, but storyboarding, outlining, um, these are all your first steps to sparking up a long form or a short form storytelling video and animation. Like, with if you're going to put in some illustrations and animation, go ahead and draw out some rough squares first, each one, and that's where you can kind of like improvise how your scenes are going to go, and you'll get used to how camera direction works. Like, what's more interesting, like somebody sitting head on, or this way, while I'm
Yeah.
talking to them.
And like
So,
you
like,
don't
you
ever have
can.
to go with your first draft either, you know? Like that's if you draft it, that's the easiest time to change things.
That's a good tip right there. What else you got? Anything else on beginning storytelling and video crafting and
I mean, not off the top of my head, that was a really good tip. That's probably what I would have said. If I had to think of something else, um, I don't know, man. Just like be able to take criticism because not everybody's going to like what you put out there, and some people are nice about it, some people aren't. Try not to take it too personally because a lot of times when people are watching like a YouTube video, they kind of forget that there's a person, like a human being who put a lot of time and effort in to make it, and they'll just be like trash or something, and like they're really quick to say the extremes. So, you know, just if people can be constructive with their criticism, this is kind of like a tip to people who consume content.
Mhm.
If you're going to have criticism, be constructive with it. Otherwise, maybe just don't say anything at all. Um, but
That's a
yeah,
good tip. I hadn't thought about actually intaking content and being a viewer as well. Like, being a good viewer is having good viewership is uh it's nice. I mean, it's very self-aware. Like, you need to be aware of other people's feelings and how much work they put into something. If you don't got nothing nice to say, maybe don't get on there.
yeah.
Maybe don't say anything. Maybe take a look and see if like something's irritating you. I know I've fallen into that trap before.
Hmm.
On one of my shorts for the documentary, I was just like advertising it. One guy had said, he's like, "Well, looks like you better get his job back." And I'm here to report, 2 years later, I'm still full-time artist. So
Heck
that's
yeah,
good.
dude. I want
So
to be a
yeah,
full
no
time artist
matter,
so bad.
can't say it's like, I think, I don't think I have to tell anybody that really wants this kind of stuff. It's not easy. It's
Yeah.
not like, I feel like I'm working harder than I did at any like gas station, but like I worked hard there too.
Hmm.
But like, I work when while the baby's awake, the baby goes to sleep, I gotta work, saying dishes, this and that. So, and then you gotta take responsibility for your own your own projects and stuff. So,
For sure.
and
It's a lot more fulfilling to
your own
work that
income.
way, though, Like if
Yeah.
you're,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Uh, I'm lucky to have like a day job where like I work from home. I have like a call center essentially. Like this is the headset I use for work in this spot and everything.
Nice.
And I'm lucky that I have a lot of not like a lot, but I have enough downtime in there to where I could like work on my art while I'm working my day job. So
And anybody who worked with me at the gas station could tell you, they're like, I'd come clock in, I'd pull my tablet out, and
yeah,
I'd start ringing people up, and I drew that very first puppet of me while I was ringing up like a pack of Marble Blacks, dude. It's like,
yes,
and
like
now I've
I'm the same way.
always like, yeah, always, if you love something, you're gonna find a way to like work on it in your downtime. But like, obviously, like, life and taking care of the bills and stuff is
Mhm.
first and foremost.
For
Um,
sure,
and that,
definitely.
yeah, I think that you're tackling it very well and with a very good attitude too. I can't say I was always like happy to make art after working, but it probably helps being at home too. I never this is the first time I've worked from home, really.
It's a double-edged sword because like sometimes I'll be like I'll sit here for like 8 hours and most of my day is taking calls and like I'll be working on my art in the meantime and it's like when I'm doing that it's almost like I don't have any breaks and by the time my
Yeah.
actual shift is over I'm like I don't want to sit in this freaking chair anymore. You know, like I gotta go
Yeah.
somewhere else. um so like I said it's a double-edged sword. If I did not have like the day job, I would like to think that I would be um, disciplined enough to dedicate those hours to art and everything. I think I would because
Hmm.
I've always make time for it. But when I'm at work, and this is before I worked at home, like when I worked at a cell phone store, when I worked at the liquor store, I was still making comics. I was still working on videos. I was still like drawing constantly, and it's because I was like in the mindset was like well, this is the time where I got to get stuff done and it's not downtime. So, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, you got to find a good work and hobby balance. And sometimes they can intermingle, sometimes they don't. I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah. It just, I think it depends on, you have to assess with yourself where do you want to take this thing? If is it the hobby or is it like, oh, I'm trying to leave this job with this hobby?
Yeah.
There's so many different levels to take into account for that, and sometimes I honestly forget that. Uh, like I'll be like, I'll critique something and I'll be like, what am I doing? This person's literally just having fun.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just
Yeah.
shut up. So we can all benefit, sometimes to double check ourselves on those things. And but if you're, for those people working those jobs like you, man, exactly, like they need to take a note to, uh, you know, relax a little and let it be an easy process, like something that you love
Exactly. Yeah, that's
ultimately.
for sure. For sure. Because, like, I mean, going back to like the critique thing, if somebody were to show you something they made in person, like, check out this, like, this short animation I made, you probably wouldn't critique it too bad. You'd be like, oh wow, that's you would be a lot more positive to that person in person than what you would if it was
Hmm.
just somebody who uploaded it and you never saw their face or anything like that. So something to just keep in mind, I guess.
Hmm. Since we had mentioned AI a little bit ago, um, now that we've covered the inspirations and processes from small to large creators, what is your stance on AI because of the most recent rollout with Sora AI? They put out those videos of the like woman walking down the street in Hong Kong. There's like a bunch of them that are really popular right now.
Yeah.
Um, but it's a huge improvement from Will Smith eating spaghetti, and I think it's pretty wild. Now I've already kind of revealed myself about my stance on AI a little bit,
Yeah.
but how do you feel about AI? Just in,
Um,
in general, or do you dissect it like I do in a sense? Because there's like so many different things to talk about.
there definitely is. It, AI itself is not inherently a bad thing, I don't think, because like we've been using AI, a more rudimentary version of it, but we've been using AI for years to make our lives easier. And it is just a tool. So like yes, it's scary. You know, there's the side of it where it's like, how is this going to hold up in court? Like if you show like, because it's just going to get better. You know what I mean? And like if there's like a video footage of you committing a crime that you never committed, how are you explaining that away? You know, and
That's
that
true.
side of it's very scary. And they
I
need to.
hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, well, I have. But,
Like I've thought of all the other stuff where they like replicate your voice and stuff, but that is the first time I've heard someone say video footage of you committing a crime and then how do you dispute it? I'm like, oh,
yeah,
I
like
really thought of that.
that's the scariest situation I can think of when it comes to AI. I don't think it's going to like take over. I don't think it's going to be like a Terminator situation. But I did hear this one situation where these people used AI to call this woman, and the AI voice was of her daughter panicking, asking for help, and said that they needed to send a ransom. And like the daughter was like crying on the phone and everything, but she was never there. She had no idea. She was like, I don't know how they got audio. I don't know how they knew what I sounded like when I was crying because but it tricked her. So like I said,
Right.
I want to retract a little bit what I said where people can be evil. I think people can do evil things. I don't think people are inherently evil, but that's just a small side note. Um, on the creative standpoint, I think it could be a great tool because I think real artists are going to continue to get work. I don't think it's going to put us out of business because there's a large number of people out there who want to support real artists by like buying our stuff or just like commissioning us for work. That
Hmm.
it's a bit scary when a big strong company that has a lot of financial backing like Disney is using AI like they have in the past with the Secret Wars thing like that is uncalled for because they definitely have the resources. But for like some kid in their bedroom who, like I mentioned earlier, like let's say they want to make a comic, they have no artistic ability and they don't know any artist who could help them out. They could make a comic. They could make a cartoon eventually one day. They could become an artist in their own right and get their creativity out there, and that's not a bad thing. Like if
Yeah.
people want to be creative, if they find a way to do that, that's fantastic. I think it's just where you get into like the not creative space where it is like blackmail and different things like that. That's the scary side
Hmm.
of AI, but it can be used for good as well. AI is just a
Right.
tool.
One of the things I used it for was I replicated my own voice. Now I'll probably run into that same situation in a few years where someone's gonna get a video or phone call of me crying and
Yeah,
but
send seven
but
thousand
here's the
dollars.
thing. Here's the thing is like I'm trying to like think of this like from the same perspective I've always had since I've been on the internet before a trending AI topic was like the mainstream uh like they don't really know what they're talking about, it seems like. But I'm trying to take the same approach I did back in the day with posting my art. Like I'll post art and I know that I'm supposed to watermark it. We've all been told this stuff.
Yeah, I'm bad at
Watermarks,
that.
copyright. Like I did for a little bit. I kind of did, and then like sometimes I'll put my signature on them, but it's just like ultimately I decided a long time ago when I'm posting something, I'm sacrificing it. It's
Yeah,
the image and everything's out there. Like I don't have enough of a team or anything to like fight all. Like there's a bunch of Redbubble stores with my artwork all over them. It's
really.
insane, actually. That was I think it's because I had it open for months before I found the watermark option, but like still it was like I've if it wasn't that, it was like 3 years ago my Rick and Morty Evil Dead mashup was like all over the internet and like people were redrawing it and it's like that one's getting popular. It's like whatever.
I've yet to find
Uh
any stolen art of mine. I would not be surprised if it was out there, but
yeah.
I
So
mean,
just
it
like
is what it
just
is.
to have a serious conversation with yourself in a sense when you're signing up for these AI programs and stuff. Obviously, not all of them are for. There's AI like video generation. There's picture generation. There's audio generation. There's audio cleaning, which in the documentary, all my audio was cleaned with AI,
Nice.
and
It
that's
sounds good.
that. Thank you. I mean, it was the best I could do because I didn't have anything. So it's like it's even still rough, but it's like better than what it was. And that's not a malicious use at all.
No.
But like but I did like submit like my voice to the website, so it's like, take that bullet, whatever it may be, but I don't
Yeah.
know. We haven't really seen those like repercussions because I think, like in my life, people, for one, they'll probably know they're not going to get a phone call from me. There's reasons for that.
Yeah.
But so like nobody's going to get a phone call from me without knowing they're going to get a phone call. And then I don't know that I don't want to put myself on a list here, a target or anything. But I've signed up for a lot of them, and I've used a good bit of them for like different things. There's productivity tools.
Yeah.
There's some that actually edit your YouTube videos. I think David Cho, he's a huge artist. He just had the Cho show on Hulu or Netflix or something like a couple years ago. He's on YouTube now. You can check him out. Um, he's talked about AI a whole bunch. He sees the good in it, but also like also the end of the world. But it's like, what are you gonna do?
Yep.
Uh,
It's going to end one day, regardless. You know.
that's what I mean. Like everything has to end at some point. So it's like, well, yeah, I kind of saw that coming.
Yeah.
So just live in the moment, live in the now, love the people you're around, make creative things. And now, if you're afraid of like people stealing your stuff, don't do it. So,
Yep.
you have to use watermarks on all your stuff, um, encode or encrypt or whatever. Everything needs to be safe. So, I mean, there's just two stances on it. I think whether you want to use it or not.
Yep.
Um, the policies that come with it, the privacy and stuff.
I mean,
Now, I don't
even
know if you've used any of them.
just kind of goofing off, like nothing I've ever like published or anything. I just was like, well, I wonder if I can make Harry Potter fighting Mothman, and like it doesn't image generate like, but
I did a
um,
lot of those at the beginning for sure. I did a lot of like just what if, like crazy stuff at first.
I was taking one of my 30-second drawings and like I was changing the voice on it to make me sound like a woman or like with a way deeper voice or something, like just goofy stuff. But I never published it or anything. That being
Which
said, though,
CapCut has that stuff installed. A lot of programs are starting to instill AI technology with those like voice filters and stuff.
oh, it's everywhere now, and I think there's enough footage of me on the internet at this point to where I don't have to submit it myself. If somebody wanted to make my voice on AI, they could, because like just go through my YouTube channel and you'll probably have everything you need there. Not that I'm inviting you to do this. Whoever is watching this, you can feel free to not do that, but you also could if you wanted to. I guess I can't stop you.
Right. Well, I mean, I think we both see the beneficial side to it and the scary side. Um, take some things with a grain of salt, but also, cross your T's, dot your I's, all that
Exactly.
stuff.
Exactly.
Well, man, I think that's about all the topics I had. I have a couple questions here.
Okay.
What's your favorite Pokemon?
Oh, Arcanine. I like dogs a lot. My favorite animal is a dog. Arcanine's a big fluffy fire dog. How can I not like him? But yeah, definitely Arcanine. There's other ones I like that are coming close, but he's number one.
Gotcha. Arcanine. Gotcha. Um, and then I think I'm gonna skip the second one because we kind of covered it. But then there's this one. What can people learn from Pokemon?
Um. Well.
Just the general audience. What could be beneficial to them? I
Well.
think it's
Go ahead.
there's obviously some surface level ones. It's big on friendship and stuff like that.
It is, and you do kind of have to look past the animal fighting. But I what I've learned from Pokemon, I guess, is like it's not really having to do with anything like plot wise on the story, but just from like a design standpoint, like any artist could become a Pokemon designer essentially, and like that's cool. Like you can find your spot anywhere, um, and I guess from a plot standpoint of Pokemon, there are trainers. Like that's typically who the stories are based around, is the trainers. But there's all kinds of different things. Like you can be a Pokemon breeder, you can be a nurse and like become like a healer or whatever. Um,
Hmm.
you can find success in pretty much whatever you want to do. It's like a big follow your dreams kind of story. It's just the main story we saw was Ash following his dream.
That was the last thing I had to ask you. Is there anything else you would like to plug or send anybody to on our outro here?
Just check out my Lemon Squid YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe. Find a couple videos you might like. If you watch one, you don't really care for it. Watch another one in a different playlist. You might like that better. Lemon Squid Instagram. Don't really post on TikTok too much, but it's there if you want to check it out. and Facebook. But I mean, that's pretty much it. Yeah, YouTube is my baby, and Instagram's my best friend. So that's it.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you being my first guest on ARTBOX, and
It was
I
an
think I
honor.
look forward to having you back for maybe some scars and other things that we need to talk about.
Just let me know, man. I'm happy to join.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
All right, thank you for having me. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.